Okay, can you hear me? Okay. Sorry, it's been a really long day.
Yes,
Very
it has.
emotional. Um, there are many viewpoints and many opinions, many stories, and heartfelt pleas for you to consider concerning this bill. While many of them I agree with, I do not want to belabor those issues. Rather, I'd like to point to the most fundamental and basic tenets of our country and ultimately humanity. Every human being is deserving of the right to freedom. As a person who's lived with basic freedoms taken away, with the very autonomy over my own body usurped in the most vile manners, I treasure freedom. I would never be the person to say someone doesn't have the right to choose to sell or not sell their body. With that being said, however, I also understand the paramount truth that my rights stop where another's begins. My rights should never trump someone else's, and our legislation, policies, and laws should serve the primary purpose of protecting everyone, not just one individual group. What does this have to do with the issue? Well, to me, everything. Many supporters of this bill believe that it's the crux of the issue, their right to choose. Honorable council members, if this bill were enacted, the demand for sex would rise exponentially. I know you've heard that over the day, but please bear with me. The numbers of people participating in this industry by choice are not nearly large enough to accommodate the demand that would quickly ensue should you choose to pass this bill. That's a truth that has played out in several communities and nations worldwide. Rather, it would quickly lead to our most vulnerable and marginalized children and adults being pulled into trafficking in even greater numbers in an attempt to meet the increase. Because there would be an increase. Honestly, reflecting on the potential fallout this bill would bring literally makes me shudder. It's not hard at all for me to imagine the outcome. In the early 80s, I was trafficked for 2 years as a teen in the Tidewater area. That's just a 3-hour drive from where we're sitting right now. I was sold nightly in residences in Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, and Portsmouth. I shudder because I can honestly say I do not believe I would have made it out alive if purchasing sex was allowed. In case you can't tell, I'm not young. I am 53 years old. This was the early 80s. It was before cell phones and pagers and internet, and it was illegal. And there was no shortage of buyers then. I don't mean to be crass, but a person's body quite literally couldn't take what would be required of it should the increase happen. I was a kid. I was a teen sold nightly in homes. In homes. No one called the police then. No one came looking to find out why all those people were coming in and out of these houses at all hours of the night. Now, if this is passed, would we ever hope to find the children or even the adults being sold now in homes if it's not criminalized? Brothels of any type would be allowed under Bill 318, and what happens inside of them would be condoned. The truth, as you've heard throughout the day, is this is not Pretty Woman. This is buyers who want deplorable things, not just vanilla sex. The truth is this industry is fueled by perversion and an appetite for younger and younger children. You can decriminalize purchasing sex with a bill like 318, but you cannot control the desires of the buyers. And they will have what they want whether you legalize it or not. I know from experience. Please don't assist them. I entered that depraved and horrific world, an innocent young girl, and I exited a shattered, numb robot of a person. The complexities of the trauma, physical, psychological, emotional, spiritual, defy explanation. Yet I was one of the lucky ones. Don't overlook that. I was one of the lucky ones. I was able to finish high school while being trafficked because while I came from a childhood fraught with trauma, dysfunction, a whole host of vulnerabilities, I did not come from a marginalized people group or from a home lacking love. I had family, education, and the opportunity that privilege affords. I cannot say that for the majority of the people trapped in the sex industry, legal or not. The majority of the hundreds of my students in Elevate Academy who willingly participated in this industry did so only after having been trafficked first. If we need a new piece of legislation, let's create one that builds exit ramps and provides resources for those trapped in the depraved, dehumanizing industry, rather than the one that would surely keep them from ever being free of it. No different than what I fear the other side, right? We shouldn't have sides. Just because I have a different belief, I don't disagree with almost anything they've said. We need to do something in our country to actually make a difference in the lives of the human beings that are walking around. These aren't animals. These aren't. I'm so tired of living in a country where everybody, it's us against them. I had to take a break because of how horrific it is to feel all of the pain, everything that has been talked about today from survivors on all sides of this is true and real, and it doesn't matter whether you legalize it or not. So let's address the actual issues. I have so much respect for what's going on, and I don't mean to sound condescending in any way whatsoever, and I know I'm not supposed to address the other side, so forgive me. But they have, out of nothing, they have banded together to do something about their situation, and that deserves some freaking respect.
Thank you.
Everybody in this room really, truly wants the same thing. I just want to make sure that it's done in a way that one group isn't going to be harmed while we're trying to help another group. That's all.
Okay, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Ms. Amucci, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask you to step out, Ms. Amucci. Ms. Amucci, if somebody was interrupting while you were giving your testimony, I'd ask them to leave as well.
Y'all gotta call up the lies. Like y'all have people are saying
Ms.
legalization.
Amucci,
We're not legalizing
no.
it. We're decriminalizing it.
Ms. Amucci, if somebody was interrupting while you were trying to give your testimony, I'd ask them to leave as well.
Correct the lies. Correct the lies.
Thank you.
White women tears. White women have historically used these type of laws.
Let's move on if we can, please.
Don't touch her. Don't touch her. Decriminalize sex work, and we will win, and we will be up at everybody's house to make sure we win.
Thank you very much.
White women tears and white women come out of town.
All right, Professor, we'll have you go ahead and get started next. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman Allen. Thank you to all the people who've testified today.